same thing. All right, so we say create. So we say create an app service plan. Usually we have a resource group where we create stuff. In this case, we'll just use an existing resource group. Do I have an existing one? Is that good? Yeah, let's create it here. So we'll have that resource group. And this is my subscription. All right, so the things we talked about earlier on. So it is now for us, you to determine, to decide based on the policy of the organization that meets the regulation. Are we deploying to a Windows operating system or to a Linux operating system? And what is the name of this application? This application, we are developing it for Chevron. So let's call it a Dev or app, service app plan. Let's call it service Chevron service app. Even the naming convention will be provided by organization. That's client name first, followed by the service app plan, for example. Or let's just use demo. Demo something. Demo app. Service app. All right. And then we'll say it's going to run on Windows or Linux. Usually, when it comes to enterprise applications that millions of people will be accessing, Linux is 100% preferable than or to Windows. So we'll pick Linux. All right. And then we are doing it. But if your Chevron is in Africa and you want to place it in the environment where their customers are, where that is in proximity, then you look for whatever the book says you should do. You look for this experiment. This demo will just use USC. All right. Pricing, the organization will tell you. And then if I come here to explore pricing, according to what my organization is buying, I'll just take the appropriate one. All right. Ideally, B1 is the cheapest, but it may not be compliant with this. I think I'll just go with this one so that we're not limited to what I can show you in class because I'm trying to see. I'll just go with it. Zone redundancy. This means, okay, so what this means is, so at the end of the day, you can also now claim that you know AWS, you know Azure, because we are doing a lot of things in Azure that can give you this, the 20 to 30%, you know the resources available in Azure and how to create it. All right. So if we enable this, what we are saying is this resource that we are creating will be replicated, will be duplicated in multiple availability zones. So we are not just creating one. But if we disable it, then it will be created in just one place. And if we lose it, that is, we have lost it, right? So this is more expensive because it will create at least 3 of them. This is less expensive because it's just one of them, right? So this is one of the things you do. Remember, where is redundancy mentioned in the CIA? Availability, redundancy, backup, they are all part of high availability. So if you want high availability for your application, then this is where you enable it. All of the theory we read about is just a click of a button. All right. But in this case, to save cost, we'll just say disable, which means this is only for demo purpose. We'll have only one. All right. So that's how to create a service plan. If we go to tab, if you provide a name and a value, this is useful only, not only, but mostly to developers. For us, we don't really need it. But if they need it, we can say, just give it to me. Yeah. All right. So you see how simple it is to create the service plan. So that is created. And that has been created. Now we have a service plan. Right? So if we go to that resource, let's quickly take a look around before we go anywhere else. We see that for the service plan, we can look at the activity log, who came in, who went out, what activities are going on within this particular resource, just like for any other resource that we have created in Microsoft Azure. They all have all of it. Overview, activity log, and then this is your core. This is where your own work is now. So you must always, this is the first thing to look at. So for this particular resource now, this is where we can control access. Who has access to what, right? I know we did this at the beginning, you may have forgotten, but this is your core work as IAM engineer. So for example, you want to check your own assets, what's your own access to this particular resource? I mean my own access. So I am the owner, I have full access to do whatever I want. All right, that's for me. All right, so check access. Who else has access to this application? Nobody. Do I want to give anybody access? Yes, I mean, when I want to say, who is the developer? I want to give you access. So I can come here and say, grant access. Grant access to this resource. Add role, like we have done at the beginning. And then what kind of access, what responsibility, what role do I want to assign? Maybe I want to assign the role to be able to do anything as far as this resource is concerned. So my organization will tell me what anything is, or I Google it up or go to ask ChatGPT. And it will tell me the person who is able to do anything, everything on this kind of system is called App Compliance Automation Administrator, for example. So I take that and I say, that is exactly what I want next. Then I select members. I say, I want to make my developer that. Then I select that. And then I select review. And then assign. So I have assigned, if it was a group of developers, 15 of them, I would have created a group and added all of their accounts, user accounts to that group. And instead of picking one name, I'll be picking the entire group and adding it. All right. So that is how I have created that and added it. Now, this is about the applications that are running inside the service plan, the file system inside the service plan. So you remember we took one kind of pre-assigned server capacity that I said I wanted to reduce. I said, okay, for the purpose of just not lacking anything, so this is what that server capacity has, right? 4 processors, 250 gig, if I want more or less, and then the networking about my service plan. And by the way, I forgot to mention what is obvious. The service plan is a managed service. Anytime we say managed service in cloud, it means that we just take what we want and the whole package, the content, how they work, how they are networked, and how they deliver is managed by the cloud service provider, in this case, Azure. So we didn't have to say the capacity should be 250. We didn't have to say how it is networked. We didn't have to do a lot of things here. All we just did was give us the service plan and everything was generated and it will be managed for us. So this is why we say when we have a platform like that, that just gives us what we want and manage it on our behalf, we don't really need to be technical gurus to be able to manage the resources on our own. We call that that kind of service platform as a service. Platform as a service. Compared to he gave us only the server, and it's now up to us to create everything that we want the server to do. And that will be too technical for your course. People who want to do that will be doing DevOps engineering. DevOps engineering, you give us a bare metal server, nothing inside. And one by one, we'll create all of the different applications that we need using different kinds of tools that we have. But this one is not like that. All right, let's go. So scale up. What do we mean by scale up? If we now decide that, that hardware, we thought that we're going to have only 30 customers or that the application would only require 250 gig. But now the application has grown beyond 250. We now need more resources. We need more storage, more CPU for that application to work. So we upgrade the server from what we have now. This is what we have. Pentium V3P data. And then we'll now say that one is running only 2 processors with 250 gig RAM. I want a higher system, a higher machine that will run 32 processors and 256, this and so on and so forth. Right? However, that will be charging me $1,000 compared to this one that will charging 73. If my organization decides that's what they want, it is this scale up that I'll use to do it. I'll just come here and I'll select. That's it. I've upgraded. But in cloud, we don't call it upgrade. We call it we scale up from a small server to a relatively big server. Right? And look at all of this. So that's the meaning of